Yeah, we're a little bit everywhere.
In our creation story, we come from Sky World. When he first made people, he took that stardust, like all those elements that are in the stars, then he put it into the humans that he was creating. And then he blew 3 breaths of life into us.
The Haudenosaunee people, the word meaning Lunoshinido, means people of the longhouse. We're not just a spiritual people, we're a political people, we're athletes, we're artists, we're a full spectrum kind of people.
The Haudenosaunee are a confederacy of 6 different Native nations. We have similar and interrelated languages, cultural traditions, spiritual traditions, and a common history bound together. At the same time, of the 6 who go by their English names, the Mohawk, the Oneida, the Onondaga, the Cayuga, the Seneca, and the Tuscarora, each of the 6 has its own linguistic identity, its own cultural autonomy and political autonomy. We are next to each other geographically, spanning from the east around the Albany area, going west past Rochester towards Buffalo. We don't experience large-scale territorial loss until after the American Revolution. Our communities, though, retain small land bases that are throughout our traditional homelands.
We were united by a message of peace, power, and righteousness roughly over 1,000 years ago by a man we refer to as the peacemaker, working in concert with a woman, Jikonsase, the mother of nations, and Hayawenta, or Hiawatha, they say in English, working to get the 5 nations to replace killing with thinking and to use the power of the good mind to resolve our differences. It's generally referred to as the Hayawenta Belt or Hiawatha Belt. This is a facsimile of it. Each of these represents one of the 5 nations. Later, when the Tuscarora come under the wing of us, then they become the 6th nation. We created what anthropologists refer to as a mnemonic device. That's our visual record of agreements. Sometimes invitation, a declaration of war even back in the day, and other times treaties.
For the Haudenosaunee, it always goes back to that 2-row wampum treaty. It says, as settlers, you have the right to live your way, but so do we. That's the point of this agreement, is that we're going to live in peace and we're going to coexist. We're not selling land, we're not leasing land, we're just here under that 2-row model, the original basis for all Haudenosaunee treaties that come after 1613.
It is a birthright that when you are born to a Haudenosaunee mother, that automatically upon your birth makes you a member of that clan. And so not only do you belong to your mother, but you belong to all the members and your leadership of that clan, including your chief, clan mother, and faith keepers.
So the responsibility of a clan mother is not only to nominate our chiefs. She names the babies. She calls for war, calls for peace. She arranges marriages. Her responsibility is to ensure that the culture, the language, the ceremonies moves forward. And probably her biggest responsibility is to ensure the continuation of the democratic principles of the Great Law of Peace.
A lot of our elders had attended boarding schools, and they left those boarding schools with the intention of not handing off the language because they didn't want their descendants to suffer at the hands of boarding schools. So my parents didn't grow up speaking, and my grandparents didn't grow up speaking, but all my great-grandparents grew up speaking Seneca as a first language. So that means you have two generations where the language was not really nurtured or handed off. So today, I'm very proud to say that our young people are stepping up to the plate and taking on the responsibility of learning language.
It's like the key to unlocking the door to our culture. So without that key, you kind of only understand some parts of the culture, right, in English. And so it's bringing all of that together to understand all of the things that our ancestors and our speakers and our families have dedicated their lives to bringing forward and carrying that through. It's really our worldview. And the way that our elders talk about it is they want us to understand who we are. These are the things that were gifted to us.
Well, lacrosse is a game, but it's also a practice that was given to us. It was gifted us by the Creator. There is the medicine game, which is part of the ceremonial world of it, but then there's the simple joy of competition. If you don't play it, you go to it. You know, it is so Haudenosaunee. I can't think of anything maybe other than our corn soup or something that my mind thinks of immediately as Haudenosaunee.
The Haudenosaunee Iroquois Nationals is a national team of the Haudenosaunee. The players are selected from all 6 nations, and they compete in world championships. They travel all over the world. They also represent sovereignty, because the Haudenosaunee nationals travel on a Haudenosaunee passport, and they exercise this right, and sometimes they're denied, but they stand their ground and they maintain that we are a sovereign group of people. We're from sovereign nations, and that's what they also represent to us. We are the originators of, the modern game of lacrosse.
The saying in Haudenosaunee country is we always got to think 7 generations ahead. And the decisions that we make today,
We're always supposed to be thinking about the coming generations. You're cautious to make sure that what we're doing isn't depleting anything for the future. It plays a huge role in ecological responsibility in our decisions that way. We want to make sure that whatever we do, we're not compromising their existence or what they're going to experience here on Earth.
We are covered in scars, intergenerational scars that get passed on, but we're healing. We're making the conscious choice to keep that good mind, to replace negative emotions with good thinking. There's a revival happening in our communities, which I'm very proud of.
We have so much wealth in our knowledge, and Ongwehome wealth has nothing to do with money. That's just a tool. Money is just a tool. Ongwehome wealth is in our understandings, in our language, in our gardens. We have so much.
We are reclaiming who we are as Haudenosaunee people. I'm doing my part for my ancestors who fought for all these things, who survived all these things, who maintained traditional knowledge through all that turmoil. And now it's our responsibility to do that for our grandchildren and their grandchildren.
Hana yo ho we dan di da wa da.